I want you to close your eyes for a second. Okay, now imagine you have the ultimate video game controller. But here's the thing. It has no buttons, no joysticks, no triggers.
Nothing.
It just has a microphone. And you lean in and you whisper, I want to be a jellyfish swimming through a bioluminescent canyon in the deep ocean, and I want it to look like a high-budget nature documentary.
Usually in the world of gaming as we know it, that's where you hit the loading screen. You sit there, you wait for the assets to load, the map to render, get the little spinning circle.
Exactly. Because some team of developers somewhere spent, 3 years building that specific canyon, coding the water physics, texturing the rocks. But in the scenario we're looking at today, there is no loading screen.
There's no developer.
You speak, and the world just appears. And I don't mean a video of world. I mean a playable, physics-compliant reality. The water drags against you. The light refracts. You can actually steer.
And the most mind-bending part of this whole scenario, that world didn't exist 5 seconds ago. And AI built it frame by frame in real time just because you asked for it. And when you leave, it might never exist again.
It sounds like the holodeck from Star Trek. I mean, it sounds like pure science fiction. But according to the research we've got on the desk today, this is the new reality of AI world models. We're doing a huge deep dive into Project Genie and the engine that's driving it, which is called Genie 3.
This is a massive topic, and to really get a handle on it, we've pulled together a pretty fascinating mix of sources. We've got a retrospective piece from the Mpelembe network that's from way back in April 2023, predicting how this all might play out.
Now we've got the heavy technical breakdown from Google DeepMind, which was released just recently, late 2025 and into January 2026.
And to cap it all off, the official launch announcement from the Keyword that just dropped on January 29, 2026.
So the mission today is to figure out how we went from those empty, clunky virtual worlds of the early 2020s to an AI that can simulate history, physics, and fantasy on the fly. And honestly, I want to know what happens to reality when you can generate an infinite number of fake ones.
It raises some huge questions about creativity, about simulation, and maybe most importantly, about how we train robots. But before we get to the robots, we really have to look at where we started. Because this dream of the virtual world, it isn't new.
No, not at all. Let's dial the clock back to 2023. I remember this era so vividly. The Metaverse was the word on everyone's lips. Every corporation was buying up virtual real estate.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest, it didn't really stick, did it? It felt a little hollow.
It struggled a lot. And this article from the Mpelembe network, Architecting the Metaverse, it really nailed why. They published this in April 2023, and their core argument was that the Metaverse was a container without enough content.
The empty room problem.
The empty room problem, like buying a huge mansion but having no furniture and no friends to invite over. They argued that we were waiting for a catalyst. At the time, if you wanted a realistic forest in a game, a human artist had to model every tree, texture every single leaf, play every rock. It just wasn't scalable. Mpelembe predicted that AI was the missing link to automate all that creation.
I'm looking at the notes here, and they mention the early players, like Meta working on avatars, Microsoft on training worlds. But the key distinction the article makes is about believability. They weren't just asking for better graphics. They wanted realistic simulations. They wanted the wind to blow and the rain to fall without a human having to code rain.exe.
That is the crucial pivot point. In 2023, the cutting edge of AI was asset generation. You could ask an AI, make me a 3D model of a chair, and it would spit out a static mesh of a chair.
A single object.
A single static object.
Yeah.
You then had to manually take that chair and put it into a game engine like Unity or Unreal. So the AI was a factory worker making the parts. It wasn't the architect, and it certainly wasn't the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, January 2026, and the DeepMind papers show we've jumped the shark. We are not creating the chair anymore. We aren't even creating the room. We're creating the rules that allow the chair to exist.
And that's the shift from asset generation to world models.
Exactly.
Okay, let's double-click on that term, world model. The DeepMind paper on Genie 3 uses it constantly. They call Genie 3 a general-purpose world model. To me, that sounds a little bit like marketing jargon. How is a world model different from, say, those AI video generators we